So a copper who got caught with pictures of kids who had been abused, right? It says here, paedophile officer caught with sick videos of abused children is spared jail. Sorry, can't process. I'm having problems processing this one. PC Lee Ashcroft was found with videos of children engaged in sexual activity whilst he was a serving officer. And this just leads more into the reason why I can't stand police. Not all of them are like this, by the way, obviously. But there does seem to be quite a high proportion of police officers where this stuff's coming forward and they were either grooming kids or they had kiddie stuff on there or they were dealing with people who have been abused or been part of a whatever it is, and they've just used their position to gain dirty and sickly things. It just don't get it. Anyway, it says here, a paedophile police officer has avoided jail. Oh, that's just right, isn't it? After being caught with vile footage of children. Lee Ashcroft admitted making an indecent photograph, pseudo-photograph of a child. And 2 years after the raid on his home in High Greater Manchester in October 2020, Ashcroft originally pleaded his innocence, claiming that he was a victim of an online fraud campaign. But he would say that, wouldn't he? Ashcroft's laptop had to be sent off to the government intelligence headquarters to crack an encryption. If you haven't got stuff on there that's real dodgy, you don't encrypt it. Okay, so saying he was innocent, but yet having his stuff encrypted, you know, the alarm bells are ringing anyway. So, even after the code was cracked and investigators discovered the video, Ashcroft maintained his innocence. So, there was a video that they found on there later that was, you know, paedophilic, right? And he still claimed his innocence, right? Now, between the time he actually, the end of the trial, there's 2 years of him claiming his innocence. Anyway, 2 years later, he resigned and admitted the charge. When the evidence was irrefutable, he finally admitted it. But he'd hoped to go free. He hoped to get off. And if he had, what would he have done then? So anyway, it says, analysis of the computer showed a group of children aged between 10 and 13 engaged in sexual activity. The category A clip, so-called in cases as shown the most serious forms of abuse, had been downloaded and viewed twice. God only knows what that was. Minutes later, it was deleted using file shredding software. So he'd had a good look at it and then got rid of it. Great, just the job. Another video file titled 12-year-old Swedish friends together was found but was inaccessible. Ashcroft admitted accessing the dark web. Why would you even go there? I mean, I wouldn't actually know what the dark web is. My understanding is Google search, and that's pretty bad in so much as Google search, you can't get the information you want out of, historically speaking or whatever. But I know this dark web happens. I know it's out there. I have no idea what... I think you've got to be one of the geeky people to get into. But anyway, it says found it inaccessible. He admitted accessing it and his interest in coding. Really? Ashcroft said he may have inadvertently clicked on a link showing indecent images but had never downloaded or viewed them. So that was obviously clearly a lie. It goes on. Judge Gary Woodall's sentencing said Ashcroft is struggling to accept that you have a problem. Struggling to accept you're an actual blatant liar and you really like pictures of underage kids. That's what he's struggling to do. But it said here, he shows genuine remorse and shame. No, he doesn't. He lied all the way through trying to get out of it so he could carry on. And it was only when the evidence had mounted up to a point he couldn't get away with it did he admit anything. But even then, he's trying to make out that he's not actually a wrong'un and he doesn't have any interest in kids. Get on. He told the defendant you were somebody, even now, who is struggling to fully accept that you're knowingly downloading the image. That's like somebody punching you in the head saying, I'm not punching you in the head. You absolute idiot. There are clearly issues that you that have to be addressed and that have caused you to go looking for indecent images of young boys engaged in sexual activities. I'd say there were some problems. Monumental buggers. You continue to deny any sexual interest in children. I went to prison, right? Years ago for motoring offences, totting up, right? It was drink drive, really stupid, but that was like 22 years ago now. God, yeah, 1999. All right, and I deserved everything I got. But while I was there, there was the block we were in, right? 3 levels. Then the next block. Now, the 2 levels above were segregated from the 2 levels below. The 2 levels above were drugs-free. Do you know, the irony was I'd never done drugs before I went into the Nick, and I never did them when I was in the Nick. I was the only person that didn't, which is why they always wanted a piss test out of me. Can you piss in a bag? No, do one. But anyway, the other side underneath. One side was, I think it was called back then a Rule 43. I think it might be called Rule 45 now, or it might change again. That was for the sexual offenders, all right? And opposite that was the block. So people who've been on the normal wing who got into really bad fights, have done something horrendous, whatever, they got put down the block. However, one day they didn't let us out for our food. They'd unlock everybody else on the wing to go down and get their food, and they'd not unlock me and my mate. So we complained, well, where's the food? They went, well, you've had it. I went, look, have a look at the cell. We haven't been fed. All right, down you go. And they led us to the front of the queue, and these other people were queuing up, and it was just them. When we got near the front, I worked out who they were, and they were the wrong ones, is type. And then no remorse at all. They're proud of what they've done. They used to taunt us through 3 doors. There was like, we were locked behind this door that had a glass window. There was another set of railings and the other door. And they'd be goading us. They were proud of what they'd done. They went into Nick. What they would do is they'd share experiences. We got told all about this by prison guards. They shouldn't have done, but they did. And they said they swapped stories. And they basically work out when they get out how not to get detected the next time. It's unbelievable. Anyway, we ran to the front of the queue of the food. We had to make sure, we said to this lot, you haven't spat in this shit yet, have you? They went, no. Okay, thanks. But there were just too many of them to beat up. But they're proud. They're absolutely proud of what they've done. Unbelievable. And the likes of the Gary Glitters of this world that went in, they'd have been on a roll, and they'd be telling everybody else of all the experiences they had. Seriously. The punishment's not enough. That's all I'm saying. And it's funny people say that you should castrate them. But for many of them, it's, because I just like, what actually, why don't we castrate them? And then you speak to an official who knows what they're on about, they say, you can take them off. It won't stop it because it's something wrong up here. It's not like, you know, when you're a normal man and you're looking at somebody who's your own age group, who's female, and your desire towards that, that's up here and down there and everywhere else. But really, with this lot, it's something twisted up there, and I don't know what you do. Or at least I couldn't say on here. But anyway, there it is. Another copper who's escaped prison. What did he get anyway? What actually did they give him? Ashcroft cried in the dock as he was handed a 10-month sentence of imprisonment suspended for 2 years. He was ordered to serve 120 hours of unpaid work and rehabilitation activity required of up to 30 days and must pay 1,500 quid. Hang on a minute. I got given 200 hours community service for drink driving. I got given 2,000 hours. Not 2,000 hours, a £2,000 fine. That's for drink driving, and I didn't hit anybody. I just got stopped. I mean, I'm not reducing the implications of what I could have done, but he's a nonce. Have a word, ref. Jesus, unbelievable. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Just makes you sick, doesn't it? And with a judicial system like that, who doesn't punish wrong-uns, it makes you think, why? Why is it they won't go so hard on paedophiles? Why? And I'll leave that question answered up to you. Anyway, speak to you in a bit.